Good morning everybody, it's your old pal Mark Metalhead here, formerly over there Metalhead, but that's all changed since the start of 2021, the old and the new. Yeah, so today it is the 74th birthday of the legendary artist Denny, and as I usually do every year, I go to a grave maybe once or twice a year in Putney, but last year, because of the hectic year it was, I didn't give myself the chance to go to Putney. And even though that it is like, UK lockdown, stay at home, you do have permission to go out and visit cemeteries and memorials, especially when it's somebody's birthday or their anniversary of death. Because literally they won't be shutting down all the cemeteries in England. It's just going to take me a couple of buses to get from my place to Putney, but I'm pretty sure I won't get stopped by the police, and if I do, I'm just going to say I'm attending a memorial, and that's acceptable, even though it's like 7 miles away. Yeah. So, anyway, Denny was born on this day in London in 1947. So she was actually born the same year as my mom, even though my mom was born in December 1947, and Denny was born at the start. And the interesting thing was, I know a woman in Birmingham whose sister was in the same class as Denny, because I went to a similar school in southwest London. I think it might have been in Wimbledon, or yeah, I've actually been to the school that Denny had gone to. So yeah, and that's fantastic. Always remember to walk out of home with fresh teeth and cleanly shaved. Make you feel so good. So, at this moment, just gotten on a bus, just after 11 o'clock. I don't expect to get to the cemetery for another hour and a half. I'm just going to be taking buses there. I just have to take a bus to this big bus stop in town and get a long one to Putney, and then there's another from Putney to the cemetery gate. I just can't believe it. The last time I was in Putney was November 2019, just a few weeks before I went to South America. And given what 2020 put through, I didn't give myself the opportunity to go Putney, even when there wasn't lockdown, even when there was restrictions, even when it wasn't stay at home, even when I was working, even when I just came back from being in quarantine in Bangor. But it's pretty much just my own fault because I was being lazy. See, I normally visit people's graves on their anniversary or their birthday, or whenever I get the chance. It's I haven't even been at school in crematorium since Mark Boland's memorial service on his anniversary of death in September. And I haven't been to where Blair Peach was buried since 2019. I haven't been to East Finchley Cemetery where Melanie Appleby is buried. And also, I've got to go back there someday because this guy from Atomic Rooster is also buried there, and that'll be a really good vlog. So, yeah, anyway, this is the second time I've left home in 2021. I had to go out of home on Monday before restrictions came in for a work meeting. So, this will probably be the only time I get out of this part of London for the foreseeable future until things change, because otherwise I'm just going to be stuck where I am in London for the next few months. I'm at the bus stop right now waiting for the 85 bus. Yeah, 85 to get to the cemetery. I just got myself a cup of coffee and a vegan sausage roll. Even though I did consider myself in 2021 to spend less money on takeaway coffees, it was just the fact that you buy a vegan sausage roll, it goes well with a cup of coffee, but if you don't want to be drinking cow's milk, you have to stick with an Americano, which kind of sucks in my opinion. It's just basically coffee with this extremely hot water. And pretty bitter. The number 85 bus takes you from Putney Bridge all the way to Kingston. I wouldn't really say into the heart of Kingston, but just in walking distance from the cemetery. So comes a few times an hour. Short walk from underneath the motorway to the cemetery front gate. And also there's an Asda next door to the cemetery to buy flowers. So good place to pop in if you want to buy flowers for Sandy. The number 85 bus I just got off, it does drop you at the front gate of the cemetery, but if you are coming to Putney Vale Cemetery to see Sandy Denny, you are best to walk down the road to the other side entrance, because that'll be closer to where Sandy Denny is buried. Now, I've got a bit of a walk to go from here to Asda and then back to the side entrance. So, it'll take me a few minutes and I'll be in the cemetery in no time. Yes, I'm at the Asda car park in like Putney Vale, not far from the cemetery. Just had to get in, get my roses for £2 and get out. Normally they had like a side entrance to like we could like sneak in and out, but due to COVID times you have to go through the stupid car park, especially when you're a pedestrian. Yes. So I'm now going to return to Putney Vale Cemetery in the next few minutes. So here we are, side entrance of Putney Vale Cemetery. The office is around the corner right there. This is the main entrance I always take, because I never get lost when looking for Sandy's grave, because I always follow the same path. Now I've already done a few videos in the past where I've walked from the front gate to Sandy's grave, but I won't waste my minutes on camera like doing this. So I just basically just say, if you come here for the first time and you do get lost, you can always ask the people in the reception for a map of the cemetery. They will happily point you out where Sandy is buried, and it will save you a lot of time just walking around this cemetery trying to find it. Because sometimes, you know, when you go to a cemetery, you don't know where a certain person is buried. You normally just ask the people at the reception, they'll point you in the right direction. Otherwise, you have to rely on like find a grave coordinates where people have said, alright, this person is buried at plot B, grave marker 567. And it's about to reach the final stretch. I always remember this area because there is a famous British sailor buried at the back row up there. So I always make sure to go in here. And then also this, I always remember seeing this grave every time I come here. So it reminds me I'm on the right track. Oh look, there's a squirrel on top of that tombstone, right up there. How impressive. Yes, oh, and coming so close. Oh. And here we are. Well, the rain and the winds may have knocked over those flowers, but I can put them back up. And so, therefore, I'm at Sandy's grave. It's a bit muddy down here. And so, here will I go, putting my flowers just right about here. Yes, just don't want to cover the whole name up. Oh yes, and also I think I remember back in the day I had left this plant here from a couple of years ago, and somebody's even left a brush right here. And oh, even like a unicorn. Somebody's put a unicorn right here, because of the book of Sandy Denny's biography. Is like I always had a unicorn. So very just cute and sweet. Oh. But this plot needs a little bit of a tidy up today on her birthday. Happy birthday, Sandy Denny. 74 years old up in heaven. Wish you were still around today. Your spirit comforted me in June 2017 when I came here as a broken man who wanted to live in London and didn't want to go back to Australia. And I stayed in London, and I'm still here 3.5 years on. And I don't care if I don't ever get back to Australia. I'm just so proud to be in London, where you lived all of your life. And I'm just going to read the lyrics of a song Fairpoint Convention had covered back in the day when Sandy was in the band. And the song was played the day Sandy was buried here in 1978. The flowers of the forest. I've heard them lilting and the ewe milking, and I've heard them lilting before light a day. Now they are mourning for all time a tilling. The flowers of the forest are all withered away. Sad they are for order, send them to the border. The English by guild for once won the day. Now they are mourning for all time a tilling, a litting. The flowers of the forest are all withered away. I've heard them litting and you milking, and heard them litting before light of day. Now they are mourning for all time a tilling. The flowers of the forest and all are withered away. You gotta remember that, like, Sandy Denny's parents are actually from Scotland, so like me, Sandy Denny also had some Scottish blood, because my grandfather was also Scottish as well. And gonna do another reading of the lyrics of Sandy Denny's song I really like Late November. The winer was drunk, the ship it was sunk, the shot was dead, all the sorrows were drowned, the birds they were clouds, the brides in the shrouds, and as we drew south the mist that came down, the wooden ravens, the wandering stream, the serpent he moved but no one would say, the depth of waters, the bridge which distraught us and brought me thought of the ill-fated day, the temples were filled with the strangest of creatures, one played it by ear on the banks of the sea. That one was found, but the others they went under. Oh, the tears which are shed, they won't come from me. The methods of madness, the pathos and sadness, God help you all. The insane and the wise, the black and the white, the darkness of the night. I see only smoke from the chimneys arise. The pilot he flew all across the sky and woke me. He flew solo on the Mercury Sea. The dream it came back, all about the tall round people. The scared young herd on the phosphorus sand. Written by Sandy Denny. And out of respect for David, Edna, and Neil Denny, I leave a single rose, as I always do every time I come here. Edna and Neil, you raised Sandy Denny well. She was a beautiful flower. And you also raised David well, because he was a big older brother for Sandy. May you all rest in peace. God bless. Well, my duty has done. I've left my roses. I've tidied up the grave. And I've said my prayers and sang my songs. So, goodbye, Sandy. Happy birthday in heaven. I'll never forget your birthday, and I'll never forget your anniversary of death. Because the day you died, on the 21st of the 4th, is actually the same day Prince died. And your birthday is 2 days after Phil Lyngott's anniversary of death, and 2 days before Steve Clark's anniversary of death. So when Sandy had died in 1978, Phil Lynott of Thin Lizzy did a tribute to her, and so did Kate Bush. You know, two musicians of the prime of 1978 paying homage to a legend. God bless.